there by the Corolla.
The Bates twins.
It's the Daily Planet car, I think.
Yes, the Daily Planet car.
The 18 car went down, and you can see that if it was young Callaghan or Barry Graham...
He's out of there.
Now...
This was a separate incident.
Jimmy Richards finds he's now aquaplaning. The left front is doing nothing as he just comes through here. There's a kink to the left. He turns the wheel, but that breaks the back end of the car away. He's got the lights on, the brakes on, clips the back of the tail first. He can't wipe off any speed, and there he goes into the Daily Planet car. And the Planet car goes into the Corolla that's parked down there on the wall. Well.
Oh, there is pandemonium at Panorama just for the moment. But be assured, the race is finished. The race is over. The field has been red flagged after 144 laps of a scheduled 161, and in a matter of moments, absolute mayhem broke loose here. Food Town Commodore car, Terry Finnegan, number 27. Yet another slide we see in replay on another part of the circuit up at the top of the mountain up near McPhillamy. And he was fortunate in that the only thing in his way was the wall, not another competitor. So he sustained some damage, but is otherwise out of harm's way. Dick Johnson, relatively unscathed. Arm raised. Now, I don't know whether his arm is raised in what he thinks might be victory, but the indications that we've been given is that the number 1 Nissan will still be declared the race winner.
Well, if the race is red flagged, normally what the drivers would do is come around and stop on the grid, so that may well be why he raised his arm to let the guys behind know that he was stopping. But the pace car carried on, so they've now all set off after it again.
There's another incident coming up for you that we captured.
Oh, this is Jimmy Richards, is it?
This
is the Richards incident.
What happened?
It's a car that's got loose, and it's the Johnson car. And Jim, no.
He's cleared that. That's Crompton, is it?
I think
it could have been, yeah, from the back. So, some harrowing moments for the drivers out there. That storm has gone through, but they've hung the red flag. There's the storm moving away from Bathurst now. And the cars are returning, so the race is definitely over. If they go back to the last recorded lap, that'll still give the win to Jimmy Richards and Mark Scaife. But at this stage, we're trying to investigate, because pit stops are on at that stage, whether or not Dick Johnson finishes second or Neil Crompton finishes second. But there's the rest of the vehicles returning to the pit area. So the officials, the clerk, of course, Tim Schenken, has decided that is enough. And depending on, for the spectators here, who they support, we could have a very, very vocal presentation ceremony coming up a little later on. But there's the carnage coming out of Forest Elbow. John Brady with Ivan Stibbart hopefully will clear the air.
Yes, thank you very much, Mike. Ivan, red flag, it is all over, Red Rover?
All over, yes, unfortunately, but as you can see now, the weather's clearing up, but it's too late, it's all over, so we've declared it, and the timekeepers are now working out the final result.
Not afraid that you may have jumped a little early?
No, not if you saw what was happening there with some of those cars. It was a bit dangerous, and unfortunately some of them don't heed the caution flags, and you only need 1 or 2 to do that, and that's what caused that problem.
OK, the $64 question, who is the winner?
I would say car 1. The race has got to be declared at the last full lap before the red flag went out, and he was still leading at that stage.
How close was he to the next full lap at the time?
Not sure until we get to the timekeepers on that, but he had a full lap up on him on the other cars, so that should be OK.
So that'll leave him out. The number 2 car still clear as well?
I think so, until we work out what's happened there exactly. I think the results are much as they were the lap before.
Frustrating end to a 30th anniversary.
Frustrating, yes, but this is shades of 87 all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, but I suppose at least we've got the Fords and the Holdens back. Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Jimmy Richards has returned to the pit lane, explaining what happened. Let's go to Mark.
Jim? Yeah, we'll get Jim just in a minute. He's just got out of the car, fairly shaken, I'm sure. Just put the jacket on. He's probably a bit cold from standing up on the mountain there too. Jim, what happened up there?
I just came around the corner and had no grip whatsoever, going about 2 miles an hour, and hit the bank just out of the cutting. So I just put it in low gear and just went very, very slowly around the track at about 1 mile an hour, come out of the forest elbow, and the car just, as if it accelerated without me putting my foot on the accelerator. And it just went out of control down where the other cars were and hit them. And then the little Corolla did the same thing behind me.
You're obviously okay. The conditions out there, I guess they were worse than they were this morning because there's probably a lot more oil down.
Well, the conditions was wet and we were on slick tyres. That's what the problem was.
Well, Ivan Stibbard has just awarded the race to the #1 car. You must be pleased with that, even after the crash.
Fantastic. I can't believe it.
Well done, Jimmy Richards. And the crew celebrating here, Mark Scaife and Jim Richards. They've done it again. Very difficult circumstances. They ground away. Expert pit work kept the car on the island except for the last lap, but they were leading when the race was called. And here's our winners, Mark Scaife and Jimmy Richards. Well done. Nissan 1-2. Big winners here today.
You get the impression out of that, Mark, that Jim didn't expect to win.
No. One never expects to win in a car with no wheels.
Yes. But they've driven marvellously all day, Mark Scaife and Jimmy Richards. Jim walks back out of the pits. Freddie Gibson, I don't think they can believe it. I can't believe it, he said.
Well predicted Nostradamus.
He should have gone and spoken to Ivan Stibbard. He was absolutely confident.
Well, it's a rule I guess not a lot of people are familiar with because this unfortunate turn of events doesn't come up very often around the world.
No, you don't get a dry, wet or a wet, dry Bathurst, and that's happened today. And I think Fred at this stage explaining to Freddie Gibson, I'm sorry, took the front out of the car, but there was nothing he could do about it. I noticed Leon Daphne down there from Nissan. He's delighted for the swan song of the GTR at Mount Panorama. Let's go down to AJ with Tony Longhurst.
Tony, obviously you want to keep on going.
Well, our car was still in one piece, but I can't see how the Nissans won the race. The rules state quite clearly the cars must get back to Parc Ferme. Now, it's stuck out on the circuit, so as far as I understand the rules, the car's not finished.
So what we're saying, we're going to hear a little bit more about this in the protest room, perhaps?
Oh, I don't think we'll protest, but the organisers, they make up the rules. It says the cars must make it to Parc Ferme. Well, their car is not in Parc Ferme.
I guess it's a long year for an ending like this for a B&H team. 4th place, only 1 out of the 3.
No, it's a very hard... it's been a very hard day for us, and it's just disappointing. But again, I don't think the Nissans won. I think Dick's won the race.
Oh, thank you, AJ, and thank you, Tony Longhurst.
Actually, that's not right. What Tony's saying, I think, is incorrect. It was just pointed out to me, Nigel, one of our aficionados, just pointed out to me that Emerson Fittipaldi actually won the British Grand Prix in 1975, I think it was, while his car was a smoking wreck beside the track. So there are precedents for today's result.
Well, we might be able to investigate that between Johnny Brady and Mark Osler over in the pits. But good luck, Jimmy's wife, Leon Daphne from Nissan. They were anything but happy about coming to Mount Panorama as the sun comes out now. I guess a word with Dick Johnson to see whether Dick believed the race should have been stopped, and his answer may well have been no. But they're headed down to Victory Lane. We'll have the presentation coming up shortly. But Jim, what a day for him as they make their way to the Toohey Centre. Now, this is as we understand it. These are unofficial at this stage, to be confirmed on the Caltex race score. Jim Richards, Mark Scaife and the Winfield Nissan GTR winning the 1992 edition Tooheys 1000 over Dick Johnson and John Bowe. Neil Crompton and Anders Olofsson finishing in 3rd. Longhurst and Chicotto in 4th. And Wyn Percy and Alan Grice in 5th spot. We'll clear that out for you when we return. And Mark Scaife will be in Victory Lane shortly. We have a rainbow out. We have the sun out now. But one must really support the officials. I mean, we had the track block, which meant that the pace car was going to come out anyway. Would have taken for ages. However, a very spectacular finish to today's race. There's the 76 car being loaded on the tilt tray truck to be taken back. Looks like the Bob Jones, Peter Jansen car is also receiving attention there at the top of the mountain beneath the Tooheys Bridge. After a superb drive from Bob and Peter Jansen today. And here is where it all went wrong on the exit to Forest Elbow. The Toyota is wedged in there. We have the GTR Nissan, the Winfield entry. I think the Barry Graham Everlast car, sharing with Bill O'Brien and Brian Callahan.
There's a bit of a panic on in the middle of all that, Mike.
There certainly is. There's Andrew Harrison, the Daily Planet Commodore, that was positioned as high as 9th today in the field.
71 there is the Toyota Corolla, which, depending on exactly when the race is stopped and so on, may have won the baby class as well.
Yes, the placings that we give you are obviously going to be provisional in the other classes. And I guess there's the new Spec 93 class.
Well, I think
Win Percy.
Win Percy and Alan Grice will have won that, because I'm fairly sure they were still actually running, so they would have crossed the line. They'd be in Parc Ferme, and there wouldn't be too many arguments about them winning that class, would there?
Well, I don't really know. I'm going to leave it to the people who do what they do so well, the lap scorers.
That's
both the computer people and people like Nigel Greenway, who...
That's an intelligent decision. Discretion is definitely the better part of valour. I've just seen 300 people with Ford flags go past our commentary position.
Where do you think they're going?
I think they're going down to the podium, and I think Wilco will probably do his most difficult work today in a matter of moments.
Well, there's the scene. They're coming out of the grandstands. They're all wet. They've been standing here in the rain all day. There's a huge crowd on top of the mountain. But this is the assembly point for all the fans. That's beneath the Tooheys Bridge, just in front of the centre, where the presentations take place. They're waiting. I'm just looking to see if I can find any Nissan flags out there.
The natives are restless.
Just a little. And here are the fans along Pitt Straight. The ones up on the hill. They're shell-shocked as well.
I hope Wilco's wearing his can-proof vest.
They're stunned, the spectators. They just can't believe this. But we see some Ford flags down there, and they're down out the front of the centre.
We're all stunned, I think. I'm feeling fairly shell-shocked, I'm prepared to tell you.
Really, after a performance like that today, it would be rotten luck to take the win away from Mark Scaife and Jimmy Richards. Let's go down to the presentation ceremony. It's going to be a very noisy bit of beauty. Wilco.
Thank you very much, Mike Raymond. And here we are at the Tooheys Centre for the official presentations following this foreshortened race for 1992. And the crowd are really getting worked up, and I know why they are. We'll get to that very shortly. But first of all, we've got the 1600cc class winners, Scotty and Jason Bargwanner in their Toyota Corolla. And here they come. A fantastic effort. Just keep talking and ignore this noise. The 1600cc class winners. It was a big effort. The competition between yourself, Peter Verheyen, and the other cars in the class was very, very close. The Bates boys, you swapped positions all day.
Yeah, Scott's still at the top of the mountain. He's involved in that crash. We don't know where he is at the moment. He's trying to get up here now. Just got to thank John Smith for letting us have the car. Mercantile Mutual, Brake Pro, and Wintool AW Awards. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks to all the ugly children that helped us as well. Thanks, boys.
Jason Bargwanner in partnership with his cousin Scotty, who unfortunately is still stuck at the top of the mountain and can't get here. They were the 1600cc class winners. Well, third place outright in the great race for 1982 went to